I never thought a single keystroke could unravel a life built on silicon dreams and Wall Street whispers. But there I was, trapped in Ethan Hale's skin, 6'2", broad-shouldered, the kind of frame that commanded boardrooms, staring down at my own trembling hands. Now his. As I hit send on that email. It wasn't just any message, it was the kill switch. Clause 13F buried in the fine print of Hale-Tekka's merger agreement. A ghost clause no one ever reads until it's too late. Their assets froze mid-breath, billions evaporating like morning fog off the Hudson, and in that frozen moment, I felt the sweet, sick rush of revenge coil in my gut like a serpent finally unchained. But let's back up. Because this isn't just about frozen funds, it's about the day I woke up as the monster who'd stolen my soul. Piece by digital piece. It started 6 months earlier, in the fluorescent hum of Hale-Tekka's R&D lab in Silicon Alley, where innovation smells like burnt coffee and desperation. I was Camila Reyes, lead neuroengineer, the Latina whiz kid from the Bronx who'd clawed her way into Ivy League labs on scholarships and sheer spite. At 32, I'd pioneered the neural sync protocol, our crown jewel, a non-invasive brain interface that promised to revolutionize remote work, therapy, even corporate espionage if you squinted hard enough. It was meant to sync minds across distances, blurring the line between self and other without a single incision. Safe. Ethical. My baby. Ethan Hale. My boss and the silver-tongued CEO who'd poached me from Stanford. Called it the future of human capital. He was 45. All Ivy polish and predatory charm, with a penthouse in Tribeca and a Rolodex of senators. We'd been lovers once, brief. Intense. The kind of affair that burns hot in conference rooms after hours, but fizzles when ambition collides. I thought we'd parted clean. He got the patents. I got the corner office and a fat equity stake. Lies. All of it. The betrayal hit like a server crash at peak hours. I'd been tweaking the sync for a demo with venture capitalists, Chinese money, the kind that funds black budget dreams, when Ethan cornered me in the server room. Camila. Darling, he purred, his breath hot against my neck. We need to talk acceleration. He wasn't talking code. He wanted to push neural sync into full-body transference, mind swaps. Essentially. Unethical as hell. Illegal under FDA regs. But he'd already lined up a buyer, a shadow consortium of oligarchs and tech barons itching for immortality hacks. I refused. Flat out. This is an augmentation. Ethan. It's erasure. You're playing God with people's souls. His smile didn't crack. Souls? That's cute. Cam. But souls don't pay dividends. That night, he drugged my after-work scotch, roofies laced with a prototype neural inhibitor. I woke up strapped to a gurney in the sub-basement lab, the air thick with ozone and the whine of cooling fans. Ethan loomed over me, his face a mask of false regret, flanked by 2 white-coated goons I'd once called colleagues. You leave me no choice, he said, injecting something cold into my fore. The board's breathing down my neck. This deal closes tomorrow. Or Hale-Tech tanks. You'll understand after. The swap wasn't painless. It felt like drowning in code, my thoughts fracturing into binary screams as neural sync hijacked my synapses, rerouting them through fiber optics into him, his body, his life. I blacked out to the sound of my own voice, his voice now, begging from across the room. When I came to, I was staring at the ceiling tiles, but they were wrong, higher, colder. I sat up, and the world tilted. Broad hands. expensive loafers. A reflection in the monitoring screen that wasn't mine, Ethan's chiseled jaw, his ice blue eyes blinking back in terror.
No.
That was me. The real me, trapped in my own body, pounding futilely at the restraints while I stood over her, me, grinning like a devil who'd just won the lottery. "Welcome to the other side, Ethan," I said, my voice a gravelly baritone that made my skin crawl. But it was his skin now, my mind in his flesh. He'd swapped us to cover his tracks, framed me for embezzling R&D funds, a crime he'd committed to fund the black market deal. My fingerprints, now his, were all over the ledgers, doctored by his pet hackers. I'd take the fall, SEC charges, prison time. Hail Tekka's golden girl turned cautionary tale. He'd walk away in my body, the grieving whistleblower, cashing out on the merger while I rotted. The first hours were a blur of dissociation. I stumbled out of the lab in his tailored suit, the fabric chafing like sandpaper against unfamiliar contours. His Mercedes purred to life under my command, but every gear shift felt like betrayal. I drove to his Tribeca loft, the doorman nodding like I belonged. Inside, floor-to-ceiling windows framed the glittering lie of Manhattan, but all I saw was the safe, combination his wedding anniversary to some ex I didn't know. Inside, a burner phone with texts from the consortium. Transfer complete, assets inbound. And photos, grainy shots of me, the real me in my body, sedated and scanned. He'd planned this for months, burying the swap tech in therapeutic trials no one audited. That night, as sirens wailed in the distance, NYPD hauling me away for questioning on the embezzlement tip Ethan had anonymously fed them, I sat at his desk, cracking his encrypted drives. The secrets spilled like toxic code, not just the theft, but worse. 2 years ago, a test subject, a whistleblower engineer named Raj Patel, had died during an early sync trial. Heart failure, ruled accidental, but the autopsy Ethan buried showed neural overload. Raj's family got a hush-money settlement, his death pinned on me as lead researcher. I'd signed off on the protocol, blind to the tweaks Ethan made in the dead of night. I'd borne his crime, his mistake, while he climbed higher on my coattails. Rage isn't clean, it's a glitch that rewires you. By dawn, I was Camila in Ethan's shell, plotting not just survival, but annihilation. Step 1. Play the part. I showed up at Hail Tekka's glass tower on Park Avenue, flashing his keycard, barking orders at interns who scattered like pigeons. Camila's gone rogue, I told the exec team in the boardroom. My voice, his voice, dripping false sorrow. Embezzlement. Cops have her. Gasps rippled. Stocks dipped 3% on the rumor mill. I leaked it myself. Anonymous Bloomberg tip. By noon, my arrest was trending. Hail Tech scandal. With pundits on CNBC decrying the fall of Silicon's Latina darling. Ethan, in my body, was singing like a canary from a holding cell in Midtown Precinct, painting me as the mastermind. But I had his face, his access. I dove into the merger docs, the beast that would save or sink us. Buried in Appendix F, Clause 13F, a kill switch for noncompliance. If the acquiring entity, those shadowy Chinese funds, failed ethical due diligence, all assets frozen. Offshore accounts, IP holdings, even personal yachts locked tighter than Fort Knox. Triggered by a single verified email from the CEO.
Me.
But I needed leverage. Ethan's web was vast, mistresses in the Hamptons, bribed regulators in D.C., a senator's daughter on payroll for consulting. I started small, hacking his personal cloud from his own laptop. Ironic as hell. Photos of Raja's widow. Tear-streaked at the payout meeting. Her eyes hollow. Emails to the goons. Dispose of the body quietly. Make it look like OD. My stomach turned, but I forwarded them to a ghost account, watermarking with timestamps. Insurance. The tension built like a storm front over the Appalachians. Days blurred into a tense masquerade. I'd catch glimpses of myself on news feeds, Ethan in my curves, my dark hair, playing the victim card in silk blouses and tearful interviews. I trusted her, he'd sobbed to Anderson Cooper, my voice cracking just right. Public sympathy swung. Petitions for my release. Freakamila hashtags clashing with justice for Hailtech. I wanted to scream from the rooftops, this isn't me. But who believes in body swaps? Science fiction for the rubes. Conspiracy fodder for the fringes. Instead, I escalated. Controversial? Hell yes. I seduced his mistress, Lila, in a Soho loft that reeked of patchouli and regret. She didn't notice the hesitation in my kiss. Grief makes blind spots. Over rose and whispers. She spilled Ethan's contingency plan, a second swap device hidden in a Jersey warehouse, powered by black market quantum chips. For emergencies, she murmured, tracing his chest. I nodded, filing it away, then ghosted her with a text from his phone. It's over. She's back. Paranoia would do the rest. But the decisions gnawed at me, the dark ones, the ones that'd make you question if I was any better than him. Like when I doxed the goons. Not subtle, full spectrum. Their addresses, essence, kids' schools, dumped on 4chan and Reddit's r/truecrime. Flames out. One fled to Mexico. The other ate his Glock in a Queens motel. Collateral? Maybe. But Ethan's empire was built on bodies. I'd just light the match. Week 3. The heat peaked. SEC raided Hailtech. Seals clacking on my office door. I played the outraged CEO, thundering about internal sabotage while shredding files in the executive washroom. That night, alone in the loft, I synced the neural sync rig, risky, untested in reverse. For 5 minutes, I glimpsed my real body, Ethan pacing a Rikers holding cell, my face gaunt, plotting his escape. Our minds brushed, hatred like static shock. You bitch, he hissed in my head. I'll bury you. I severed the link, vomiting bile into the sink. It was war now. Neural trenches. The board called an emergency meeting, video link from bunkers in Connecticut. Ethan. The merger's teetering. The chairman droned, jowls quivering. The Chinese are balking on ethics audits. Perfect. I leaned into the camera, his patrician features schooled to steel.
Then we audit ourselves.
Full transparency. Lies. Of course. I'd already fed the consortium doctored logs, falsified trials showing Neuralsync as benign as aspirin. But the hook was set. As Camila awaited arraignment, bail denied on flight risk, I moved on the warehouse. Jersey's industrial sprawl at midnight, chain link and sodium lamps buzzing like angry hornets. The device hummed in a shipping container, a Frankenstein altar of coils and screens. I smashed it first, sledge from Ethan's garage, sparks flying like 4th of July gone wrong. No reversals. This skin was mine now, till death or double tap. Dawn broke bloody over the skyline as I drafted the email. Subject: Compliance verification, Clause 13F activation. Body, terse legalese. Attaching evidence of ethical breaches, Raj's autopsy. The goon's suicides pinned on cover-ups. Embezzlement trails looping back to Ethan's shell accounts. CC. The board.
Sick.
Every regulator from Langley to Beijing. Hit send. The freeze was instantaneous. Markets hiccuped. Hailtucka's ticker flatlined. Phones erupted. Frantic VPs. Consortium reps screaming in Mandarin via interpreter. Ethan's assets, our assets, locked in digital limbo. Billions in vapor. I watched from the loft, his scotch in hand, as news helicopters chopped the air over the tower. But revenge isn't a clean kill, it's a slow bleed. Ethan, in my body, got wind via smuggled contraband phone. His call came at noon. My voice a venomous whisper. You think this ends me? I built this from nothing. You'll rot in my grave. Laughter bubbled up his laugh. Deep and cruel. Check the safe.
Camila.
The real one. Heart slamming. I tore into the penthouse safe again. Beneath the burners, a thumb drive. Files unloaded like Judgment Day. My signature on Raj's trial waiver, not forged.
Real.
Emails from me. Greenlighting the risky tweaks. I'd known, suspected. At least, and buried it for the promotion. To protect the project, I'd told myself.
Lies.
Ambition's the great eraser. The twist hit like a neural spike. I wasn't the victim. I'd been complicit. Bearing the blame because it was half mine. Ethan hadn't soloed the crime. We'd tag-teamed it. Lovers in sin. The swap? Not just cover, punishment. For my refusal at the end, when conscience flickered. He'd given me his body to live with his sins. Mirrored back. Sirens wailed closer. Feds. Closing the net on Ethan Hale, the frozen tyrant. I could run. Swap ghosts. But the drive burned in my pocket. Confession or silence? The email had frozen them. Now it thawed me, raw and exposed. In the end, I chose the gray. Testified as Ethan, flipping on the remnants, walking with immunity in witness protection some nowhere town in the Dakotas, his name erased, mine a shadow. Ethan's trial, in my body, dragged through tabloids, the fallen ingenue. Pleading insanity with neural delusion, defenses that tabloids ate like chum. He got life. No parole. In a women's supermax upstate.
Me?
I kept the scraps, a modest settlement, a cabin by a frozen lake. No swap back, the tech died with the company. Some mornings, I catch his reflection and wonder, justice or jailbreak? Did I avenge? Or just inherit the monster?
You tell me.
In America, winners write the endings, but losers haunt the footnotes. And in the quiet, when the wind howls off the plains, I hear Clause 13F echoing, one routine email, and everything freezes. Even the truth. The cabin's walls creak like old bones under the weight of a prairie winter. But it's the silence that gets you, the kind that amplifies every regret until it rings like a tolling bell. 6 months post-freeze. And I'm still decoding the glitch. Camila Reyes? Ghost in Ethan Hale's husk, sipping black coffee from a chipped mug that says, World's okayest CEO. Irony tastes bitter. Like the dregs at the bottom.
Outside.
Snow drifts against the pickup I bought cash in Billings. Montana, untraceable. Like me. No more Park Avenue penthouses or neural sync hum. Just isolation and the low buzz of a police scanner I keep for kicks, tuning into chatter about small-town drunks and meth labs. It's a far cry from the revenge high. But hell, it's breathing room. Back in the city, the fallout lingered like smog over the East River. Hailteka's carcass got picked clean, assets auctioned off in bankruptcy court, patents snapped up by vulture funds in Shenzhen. The board scattered, chairman to a golf course in Scottsdale, VPs to consulting gigs peddling lessons learned. Lila, the mistress, surfaced in a Vanity Fair tell-all, trapped in the tycoon's web, painting Ethan as a Bond villain and me, well, the absent hero, I guess. She never mentioned the loft seduction. Some secrets stay buried, like Raj Patel's real cause of death. I think about Raj a lot now, in these long nights when the aurora flickers green against the black. He was 28, Indian-American kid from Queens, fresh off a PhD in computational neuroscience. Hired me as his mentor, eyes wide with that immigrant hustle, feed the family, change the world. The trial that killed him was supposed to be routine, sync a volunteer's pain response to a virtual model, ease chronic migraines. But Ethan pushed the voltage, chasing deeper immersion for the demo. I saw the anomalies, spikes in the logs, but signed off anyway. It's calibrated, I told myself, ignoring the tremor in Raja's hands post-session. He coded the fix that night, found him slumped over his keyboard at dawn. Monitors flatlining. Ethan called it unforeseen cardiac event, paid off the coroner with a brownstone in Brooklyn. I drafted the press release. My name lead author on the white paper that buried it all. Betrayal? Yeah. But mutual. We'd built Hailteka's mode on bodies like his, underpaid coders burning out, test subjects from Craigslist ads. The American dream, climb high, step on necks. I just didn't know I'd end up wearing the neck myself. The swap's aftershocks hit hardest in dreams. Nightmares of dissociation, floating above boardrooms, watching me negotiate with ghosts. Or worse, feeling his memories bleed through, unbidden. Flashes of Ethan's childhood in Greenwich, silver spoons and absent dads. Boarding school beatings that hardened him into shark mode. His first kill, not literal, but close, a rival startup founder suicided via falsified deaths in '09 crash. I wake sweating, his broad chest heaving, wondering where Camila ends and Ethan begins. Therapy?
Ha.
Witness protection psychs are overworked hacks. Neural transference gets you labeled delusional, medicated with lithium. But revenge doesn't end with the freeze. It festers. I track them still. From this digital exile. Burner VPN. Dark web scrapers. Old habits die hard. Ethan's trial wrapped last spring. Spectacle in federal court. Lower Manhattan. With sketch artists capturing my old face twisted in rage. He claimed duress. Camila orchestrated the swap to frame me. But the drive's files damned him. Jurors, blue-collar holdouts from Staten Island, saw the emails, heard the widow's testimony. He laughed, she said, voice steady as steel. Called Raj a useful idiot. Guilty on all counts, fraud, manslaughter, conspiracy. Sentenced in my body. Orange jumpsuit clashing with dark curls. To 35 at Bedford Hills. No visitors, he petitions for reversal surgery. Gets denied. Poetic. In a twisted Yankee way. The controversial calls? They haunt too. Doxing the goons. Necessary. But the kids? One's in foster now. The other's mom OD'd on grief pills. I tell myself it was justice's ricochet. But mirrors lie. And Lila, after her article dropped, she vanished. Last ping, a flight to Vancouver. New name, cosmetic tweaks. I could have reached out, explained, but what? Hey, it was me in his skin. Screwing you for intel?
Nah.
Let her hate the ghost. Spring thawed the plains, brought mud and migrants, farmhands from the border, eyes like Raj's, hungry for more. I took a gig under the table, fixing tractors for a local co-op. Ethan's hands surprisingly deft with wrenches. Folks call me Hale, short for the false ID. And I nod along, building fences that keep coyotes out but memories in. One evening, over beers at the VFW hall, vets swapping Korea yarns with Gulf War scars, a grizzled sergeant corners me. You got that city look.
Hale.
Wall Street wolf gone rogue. I laugh it off. But he presses. Heard about that Hale tech mess. Your doppelganger. Emails freezing empires, cold as a Russian front. Word travels. Even here. The email became legend. The 13F trigger, dissected in podcasts. Law reviews. Business schools teach it now. Case study. Ethical clauses in M&A. I listen sometimes. Incognito on a flip phone. Chuckling at the sanitization. No mention of swaps. Just strategic maneuvering by CEO Hale. They paint me as the villain redeemed, flipping for the feds like a rat in a suit. Truth's messier, I testified to save my ass, not the world. Buried my complicity deeper than Ethan ever did. Summer scorched the fields golden, and restlessness clawed back. A package arrived, no sender. Postmarked Albany. Inside a neural sync prototype, jury-rigged, with a note in Lila's script, heard whispers. If it's you, fix it. Or burn it.
How?
She'd hacked the scraps. Sold to a collector in Bed-Stuy. Temptation hummed like the device itself. Plug in. Chase echoes of my old self. But one test run, feedback loop. Visions of Ethan in stir. Plodding from his bunk. We're the same now, his mind voice sneered. Ambition's virus. No cure. I torched it in the fire pit. Flames licking titanium like hungry tongues. Ashes to wind. Carried east toward the life I torched. But the twist lingered. That drive didn't lie. I'd known about Raj. Signed the death warrant for a shot at Ethan's throne. The swap reversed nothing. It exposed the fraud in us both. Camila Reyes wasn't innocent, just the sharper knife. Fall painted the hills crimson. Harvest moon rising fat and indifferent. I drive into town for supplies. Radio crackling with election noise, red versus blue. Same old Empire games. At the diner, a TV flickers, special on Hale Tech's rebirth. Phoenix under new Chinese owners. Ethics first branding. Irony squared. The waitress, a weathered mom from the res, slides pie my way. You look lost, stranger. I shrug, Ethan's shoulders rolling easy. Aren't we all? Nights. I write journal, not tell all. Fragments, the hook of that email send, the freeze frame of empires crumbling. If it's discovered, they'll call it confessional lit. Or madness. But it's therapy, raw as a gut shot. The real controversy was the revenge mine. Or his. Did I free us? Or fuse the monsters? Debates rage in my head, endless as the plains. Winter circles back. Snow muffling the world. Scanner spit static, routine call. Assets unfrozen in some distant fraud. I smile. Faint, Camila's ghost in Ethan's grin. One email changed everything. But some clauses never expire. The soul's fine print, etched in neural scars. And in the freeze, we all blink. Blizzards bury the Dakotas in white amnesia, but memory's a stubborn weed, cracking through concrete. Year 2 in exile. And the itch returns, not for the city, but the code. I tinker in the shed, salvage laptops. Bootleg chips ordered from Shenzhen shadows. Not for swaps, that's poison now. Just firewalls. Bots scraping the net for loose ends. Ethan's network was a hydra, cut one head, 3 grow. Like the widow. Priya Patel, Raj's anchor. Now an adjunct prof in Boston. Writing op-eds on tech ethics. The Hail Tech Horror, she titles one. New York Times byline. It guts me, mentions my name, Camila's, not as villain, but enabler. Reyes bore the blame, but Hale wielded the blade. Close enough to sting. I email her anonymously, Proton Mail Ghost. The blade had 2 edges. Read the logs. Attach redacted files from the drive. Timestamps glowing like indictments. Her reply comes swift. Who are you? I ghost. Let her wonder. It's not absolution, it's diffusion. Spread the sin. Dilute the weight. Controversial? Damn right. Victim blaming a widow to salve my soul. Textbook sociopath move. But in America's meritocracy myth, we all clutch our shards. Spring 27 brings green shoots and ghosts. A lead pings. One board holdout.
Victoire.
Ex-CFO. Hold up in Aspen. Laundering Hail Tech remnants through crypto shells. I road trip. Pick up rumbling south through Wyoming Badlands. Radio preaching end-time sermons. Aspen gleams like fool's gold, chalets and celebs. Air thin as trust. I check in as consultant, Ethan's charm masking the hunt. Lang's at the ST. Regis Bar. Nursing bourbon. Face like a deflated balloon. Mr. Hale, he stammers, spilling ice. Thought you were. Gone. I slide onto the stool. Voice low. Frozen. Not thawed. Clause 13F. Ring a bell? His eyes dart, guilty flicker. Over whiskeys. He spills. Ethan's retirement fund. Siphoned pre-freeze. Parked in NFTs and Bahamian trusts. 10 mil. Give or take. For the loyal, Lang wheezes. I nod. By the next round, spike his with a neural dampener, mild, from my shed synth. He babbles coordinates, access codes, before slumping into stupor. Midnight hack from the motel, transfers reroute to a Cayman dead drop. Then vaporized, donated, untraceable, to Raj's scholarship fund at Queen's College. Anonymous plaque, for the useful idiots who dream big. Lang wakes with amnesia, chalks it to bad scotch.
Me?
I drive north, wind whipping, a thief thieved. Justice? Or just score settling? The line blurs in rear view, like taillights fading. Summer sizzles, and Lila resurfaces, Instagram ghost. Vancouver handle at New Skin Same Sins. Posts, yoga poses, ocean views, captions dripping empowerment. I DM from a sock puppet. Missed our talks. Crickets. Then, Ethan?
Or.
Her. Meet up in Seattle neutral ground. Coffee shop by Pike Place. Fishmongers hollering like auctioneers. She's changed, shorter hair. Tattoos snaking wrists, Phoenix ink. Ironic. eyes wary, but curious. The article was catharsis, she says.
Stirring latte.
But the loft. You weren't him. Not all. I lean in. Ethan's jaw set. Swaps a bitch. Borrowed his skin. Kept my spite. Confession spills. The intel grab. The ghosting. She laughs, sharp, like breaking glass. Knew it felt off. But why tell now? Loose ends, I say. Ethan's rotting. I'm evolving. We walk the market, salmon scents mingling with weed haze. She shares her scars, Ethan's gaslighting, the NDA that gagged her. You freed me, in a way. Kiss goodbye, tentative.
Real.
No affair, just acknowledgement. Two survivors. Trading war stories. But controversy brews. Back home. Scanner crackles. Priya's op-ed evolves into a suit, class action against Hailtech heirs. Naming unknown enablers. My files fueled it, subpoenas fly. Feds sniff old trails. Witness protection buzzing. I bolt deeper into the sticks. Saskatchewan border. Trading pickup for a beater van. Nomad life, diner hops. Cash jobs, welding pipelines. Ethan's body holds up strong, but aches now. Phantom neural twinges like ghost limbs. Fall rains turn roads to rivers. And the twist doubles back. A package, no postmark. Hand-delivered vibe. Inside, court docs. Priya's deposition. Anonymous source confirmed complicity. Camila Reyes altered trial data.
How?
Lang. Sobering up. Flipping for leniency.
My diffusion boomeranged.
Rage flares. Betrayal's echo. I could have lawyered up. But exile's code. Vanish. Torch the van's plates. Reroute north. Winter bites harder. Isolation a lover's embrace. Radio whispers of elections. AI regs tightening. Neural sync bans federal. Good. But in the flicker of a Coleman lantern, I code a final play. Manifesto. Encrypted. Seated on tour. The swap confession. How ambition swallowed souls. No names at first, hypotheticals. But the hook's there. One email. Frozen empires. Minds in meat suits. It drops. Virals in crypto forums. Sparks debates on X. Body swap ethics. Podcasters calling hoax or horror. Ethan hears. From his cell. Smuggled note via a guard's niece. Lila's doing? We're fused. Cam. Finish it. Temptation. Bust him out? Or in? I ponder. Fingers itching for keys. But the decision's the darkest yet. Nothing. Let him stew in my skin. Me and his. Symmetry's the cruelest revenge. Spring 28 dawns. And Priya wins. Settlement rains on victims' funds.
My ghost hand in that.
Lila texts. Saw the manifest.
Brave.
Or mad. I reply. Both. Coffee in Vancouver. Road calls. The empire's echoes fade. But the clause lingers. 13F in the soul's contract. One trigger. And freeze. Thaw. That's the gamble. The highway to Vancouver snakes like a vein through the Rockies. Pulse quickening with each mile marker. Year 3. And exiles worn thin. Dakota dust traded for Canadian pines. Ethan's frame leaner. Weathered like old leather. Lila waits at a harbor cafe. Fog rolling off the sound like unanswered prayers. You look human, she says. No smile. We talk edges, her therapy. My tinkering. The manifesto that's now a subreddit. r/swap survivors. 10K strong. Trading tall tales of hacks and hauntings. They think it's LARP, she laughs. But you? Real as rain. Over salmon and secrets. She drops the bomb. Ethan's appeal granted, new trial. Emerging neuro evidence. My old body's a circus. Shrinks testifying on transference psychosis. Defense angling for mistrial. He's winning public sympathy, Lila says. Pod saves. True crime docs. Free Ethan trending. Gut twists, my face. My voice. Peddling innocence from iron bars. The swap's irony. He's trapped in my shell, but playing it like a Stradivarius. I could have ignored it, fade into Cascadia craft brews and commune life. But controversy's my catnip, the decisions that divide. I fly coach to JFK. False beard itching. Ethan's eyes hidden behind shades. New York's a fever dream. Taxis honking manifestos. Steam rising from grates like neural ghosts. Crash at a flop house in Hell's Kitchen. Code a backdoor into court feeds. Testimony streams. Experts debunking swaps as sci-fi delusion, but one, rogue prof from MIT, cites Hail Tech patents. Plausible, she hedges. Jury sways. The play? Infiltrate. Bribe a clerk with crypto scraps. Snag a janitor's pass. Night of the hearing. I slip into the courthouse basement. Echoes of my old life. Marble halls now musty with disuse. Up vents. HVAC whispering conspiracies. To the evidence room. Files glow under fluorescence. The drive. My manifesto printouts. Neural sync shards. I plan a twist, audio clip. Synthesized. Ethan's voice in my body. Confessing solo. I swapped her to silence the thief me. Deepfake pristine. Timestamps forged seamless. Risky as hell, felony if caught. But the freeze taught me. Assets first, souls second. Dawn breaks as I exfil. Heart hammering. Media erupts next day. Bombshell recording rocks Hail Tech retrial. Pundits on Fox and MSNBC bray. Hoax or Holy Grail. Ethan rages in open court. My face purple with fury. Fabrication. She's the ghost haunting me. But the seed roots, appeals stall. Sympathy sours. Priya testifies again. Voice steel. No more ghosts. Justice for Raj. I bolt west. Van rumbling to Lila's door. You did it, she says.
Pulling me in.
Night unfolds, bodies colliding. Not as revenge, but release. His skin on hers. My mind bridging. Morning. Coffee black as truth. Stay. Temptation whispers yes, build something real. Shed the shells. But the scanner in my pack crackles. Feds on the audio trail. IP pings from the flophouse. Can't, I say. Kiss goodbye. Deeper this time. Summer fades to autumn rains. And I drift south, Oregon coast. Crashing waves eroding cliffs like regrets. Gig. Coding for a weed startup. Ethical highs only. Manifestos morphed. Book deal offers from indie presses. The 13F Files, a memoir of frozen souls. I ghost them. Words are traps. But in quiet coves, I write for me the hooks that hooked me. That first send, empires icing over. The swap's vertigo. Betrayal's binary. Winter whispers endgame. News ping. Ethan's retrial collapses, recording inadmissible, but damage done. Plea deal, 25. No appeal. He's broken. My body frail from stress. Curls graying early. Lila forwards a letter, smuggled. His script shaky. Cam. Where the claws triggered each other.
Thaw.
No reply. Let him freeze in reflection. The debatable close. I could have reversed it all, hacked a black site rig. Yanked us back.
But why?
Camila died in the lab. Ethan too. What's left is hybrid, ambition's ashes. Revenge's embers. I choose the road. Van East at dawn. Rockies yielding to plains. Destination? Unknown. But America's vast, room for ghosts to wander. One routine email started it. Froze the blink. But in the thaw, I see clear. No heroes. Just humans glitching toward grace. Or not. You decide. The Empire's dust. The soul's the real asset. And in its fine print, forgiveness. Optional.